मुहुर्मुहुः. Dear devotees, this year we are celebrating Holy Mother's Janma Tithi a bit late. One of the reasons was that I had an occasion to or opportunity to attend Holy Mother's birthday in Jairambati. And as Ma had recommended that you have to at some phase of your life, anytime, at least you should stay there for 3 nights. That is there in the Gospel of Holy Mother. So I made it a point to stay there before and after the Janmatiti puja. It was a very big affair, no doubt, externally, but there are two sides to it. That is how Mother plays. So the day before, most of you have visited Jairambati. It is one of the most peaceful places when there is nobody around. Especially the old cottage. It is as it was maybe 130, 140 years ago. The old house, the Mayarbadi, the old house of Holy Mother, in 1916 the new house was built because it was too small. If you go inside the room, now they don't allow anyone to go inside the old house after it was acquired and renovated by Revered Swami Vireshwaranji Maharaj, who wanted that house because that particular room where Holy Mother is worshipped, her own photo which she worshipped, and also Thakur's photo which she worshipped, is in that small room adjacent to her own room where she used to live, and only for initiation. Thousands and thousands of people she has initiated in the room next to where she lived, and in front of her was Radhu's room. So you can imagine. And then, of course, there were other Kali Mama and Prasanna Mama always quarreling. So, in the midst of all that commotion, there is a peaceful corner, even today. Even today, if you go, thanks to Revered Swami Vireshwaranji Maharaj, he said, at somehow you have to acquire that house. It belonged to the descendants. Ganpati is his name, and he was reluctant to leave. He was demanding a big amount. He was given a house, and in those days, Maharaj said, I will collect 20,000 rupees, which was a huge sum. And somehow he renovated that small room because he got initiation. 5 presidents of our order, Madhvananji, Vishuddhananji, they all were initiated there. And Vireshwaranji himself says, in that room after initiation, the wonderful power of Holy Mother, it was so obvious that the old personality, he says, was not there. My whole mind was changed. So if you ask me about the reminiscences before initiation, I can't tell you because there was no the Panduranga Prabhu, that was his name. Because she had the power to transform immediately and remove all the karma vasanas in one stroke and give knowledge along with the mantra. So that is the room there, which is a very quiet room, very small room. You can hardly stand there. It's such a small room. But she gave initiation not only to all the monastics, including Rammai Maharaj, whose sannyas name was Swami Gaurishwarananda. He was one of the few who was privileged to make roti with Holy Mother. He used to help Mother to make rotis. And they say, he used to jokingly tell her, my rotis are better than yours. He had so much freedom. He said, my rotis are round, yours are not perfect. So he had that kind of intimacy with Mother. A 12-year-old boy uh, serving Mother and so close to Holy Mother. His name was Ramai Maharaj. He passed away in 86. 81, Sahadev Maharaj, many of you, those who have visited, he served him even before joining the order from 80 to 86 as a young student. He was born in Jairambati, village near Jairambati, and he used to serve. So he brought some of the old diaries very personal things which have not been published. So I said, "Can you give me?" He said, "No, I can't share it, but you can read." So I remember a few things which he was mentioning. You see, after the passing away of Holy Mother, he continued to stay there for a long time, Gaurishwarananji. And as you all know, the birthday celebration this year, it was nearly 37,000 people took prasad. They had to have a separate pandal. So the day before, I'm talking of how mother plays. See the contrast. The day before, if you had gone to that room, on the special day, they opened the old cottage, not that room, but people were allowed to come at 5:30. Normally, they are not allowed because some of the sadhus, if at special request, you can sit inside and meditate. The only pujari is allowed there, that room. So I took this opportunity and as much as possible, he said, "You take the key, lock yourself inside, otherwise people will come and disturb you." I thought, early morning, who is going to come? So 4:30 after Mangala Arati, I took the key and told I was very happy. So now till 7:30, there will be no problem. I can sit, meditate to my heart's content, do japa. This golden opportunity I'll never again perhaps get in my lifetime. So I went there. On the first day, it was fine. Around 7, people started coming. But on the Tithi Puja day, I didn't know that at 5 o'clock they opened the gates. And my God, just outside the room, there was so much clamor, shouting, early morning. You are supposed to just go and sit quietly. But so much of noise and so much of shouting and people talking about their booking. Then I thought, I was upset. I was thinking, why this arrangement? Can they not just silence them? Then I said, if mother wanted, she would have done it. She did not even silence Radhu and all the crazy people who were creating a similar noise. Not only there in Udbodhan also. In Udbodhan, Mayarbadi, when Sharat Maharaj was the sort of watchman trying to prevent elements who would go and disturb Holy Mother, so many young people, crazy people, and some of the monks, they joined the fray and started shouting, talking loudly. Then Sharat Maharaj, who was very calm and cool, he never got angry on anyone. He had the blood of a fish, as Swamiji says, you never get angry. So even Sharat Maharaj got wild on the monks. He said, "Don't you know mother is sleeping there and you are shouting here?" Then mother from the top called him and said, "Don't worry, it doesn't disturb me." You see the personality of this mother power. All sort, because she has created, mother has given rise to quiet people, crazy people, disturbing people, evil people, dacoits. She is the creator of the universe. That is the idea. Mother as power means power is not always a positive power. She is responsible for the positive power and also the negative power. And if she doesn't bear all these things, then who else will? If mother says, I will only shower my grace on good people, devoted people, then what will happen to the crazy people? People who lived with her. Throughout, she never tried to run away from those people. She stayed with them. And with all the problems, she lived and did not lose her composure. Because the reason is, we will discuss that in the light of the Sarada Devi Stotra. We always sing it. Everybody sings it in a beautiful tune. But let us just see, because so many characteristics of Holy Mother, Swami Abhedanand has brought out in this wonderful prayer, Prakrutim Paramam Abhayam Varadam. So that will give us an idea. He not only gives us who Mother was, what was the Mother power that they realized in their hearts. So he also composed the Dhyana Shloka on which we are supposed to meditate, so that we inculcate some of those qualities to some extent. Maybe to a minute extent, we can even imagine or try to imagine. So coming back to that uh, thing, just before that, I had an opportunity again, thanks to the delay in Indigo flights. I got stuck in Banaras, but it was a good thing. Banaras also, I had, instead of 2 nights, I had to stay 3 nights. Maybe it is Baba Vishwanath's plan. And then I did not regret. The days I missed, I was very happy that the flight was cancelled. So Banaras, because Holy Mother once refers to Kashi, Banaras is a similar place, exactly similar. You go at 3:30, so much of noise. The only time you don't get noise. But in the midst of that, you will find eternal silence, especially if you go little before the temple opens, the shrine opens. 3:30 people are standing in a very long queue. And just before that, there is that eternal silence. Maybe some body is being burnt in Manikarnika, people trying to uh, get moksha, and countless bodies being silently burnt at night, and so much of peace. And suddenly, the whole Vishwanath centered around Baba Vishwanath, the ruler of the world. The entire city becomes, there's so much of commotion, you can hardly move. So that is how Mother, in her in the stotra, we'll see, she creates the uh, she creates situations, circumstances that lead to eternal peace. She also creates circumstances that make us more and more less restless. That's why it is said, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samsthita. She Shanti Rupa, she gives peace. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Bhranti Rupena Samsthita. She gives us Bhranti also, delusion. And with the help of that power of hers, we create trouble for ourselves, trouble for others. But Mother is neutral. She is neutral. She showers her grace. That's a very important quality. This is a message of hope that whatever situation Mother has placed us, of course it is because of our karma, but she is the karma dhyaksha. She is karma dhyaksha. She holds the beautiful Amba Stotra. Swami Vivekananda describes the mother power, saying that she is the one who holds the karma pasha with which she ties, and if she is gracious, like Thakur saw a vision, Annapurna, which is another divine mother, manifested herself as Annapurna in Banaras, as Ma Sarada Devi in Kashi. So there also, moksha is possible. So Thakur saw this. It's not just a figment of imagination. Sri Ramakrishna saw with his own eyes how a person gets moksha. First, the mother has to come. Mother comes, Annapurna, Shakti comes. She comes and cuts the knots of bondage. Because if she has bound it, only she can cut it. No other power in the world can cut it. That is why Thakur used to say, if um, you can try test my patience. You may behave any way you like with me, but don't uh, be careful when you behave with Holy Mother. He told Hriday, and he suffered because of that. He said, be careful. Don't irritate her. Nobody can save you. Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. The whole trinity of gods cannot save you. The idea was that Sri Ramakrishna said that even Shiva becomes powerless. If you see, Ma Kali is dancing on the chest of Shiva. Shiva is the eternal Brahman, the goal that we have to reach. And who enables us to reach that state, that moksha? Kashi is a beautiful example. So Thakur saw that vision very clearly, where Mother comes, the Divine Mother, Annapurna, Ma Kali, in any form. The Divine Shakti comes and first cuts the bondage. Without that, nothing can be attained. And then Shiva comes and utters the Taraka mantra. Taraka means with which you can be lifted from this sansara. And then he utters that mantra, and that is how the jiva gets moksha in Banaras. It's the same thing. Radhu, towards the end of her life, some of the monks who were responsible for her seva, she was very sick. Though she gave a lot of trouble, people think she was ignorant. But the amount of knowledge she had, what happened by the grace of mother, of course. So she was very sick. So they thought Banaras Sevashram, which is one of the oldest old age home, care home, where she could be served better. But the other intention was she has troubled Holy Mother so much in her life. Maybe if she dies in Kashi, she will get mukti. That's what we think. Our thinking is based on our judgments of people, which is absolutely useless. Our judgments have no value. It is mother, when mother judges, she has a different yardstick. So, naturally, a person who served, a Holy Mother served her for so many years, untiringly, with all her crazy things that she did. She stayed just opposite. I was just wondering. So when people were shouting when I was sitting for meditation, I got irritated. Then I said, Mother stayed here. She gave Diksha to so many people. And she tolerated on the other side, Radhu would shout at midnight, any time of the day, night, she would be calling, and mother would run and serve her. So these people who are coming and shouting and talking about their worldly affairs, they are much lesser, lesser harmful. So let them talk. So you get that feeling. And on the day of birthday also I saw. That is how the divine play. One of our monks was saying, so much of indiscipline, shouting. I said, see, if mother is allowing everything, so why are you so much upset? 37,000 taking prasad, you can imagine such a small Jairamati, though now it is very well developed and lot of space is there, so many arrangements they have made, wonderful. Now the facilities are much, much better. Then this Sahadev Maharaj, I was telling you about him, he brought one diary and showed me some reminiscence in Bengali and he read out to me. When Ramai Maharaj was alive, Swami Gaurishwaranandji, and he was serving him, he said there was a similar puja. On those days, maybe 5,000, 6,000 would come. The whole village would come for prasad. They would sit down and take prasad. So during that, in that entry is there, he used to write what happened every day. So in one of the days on Holy Mother's Tithi Puja, some year, I don't remember the year, he writes, one of the senior monks who was responsible for the kitchen, he comes running and says, some people, they have come as devotees, they've stolen all the wooden vessels. In those days they used to cook in. So there were 50 vessels, now there are only 42. So naturally the head would be cross, very angry on the monk, that is Ramai Maharaj. So he very calmly told him that that's the beauty. He was in that beautiful Bengali reminiscences. He has himself written this diary at night. He said that is also part of puja. We did puja. Some pujari was doing his own puja. The people were singing, some were dancing, some were gossiping, sitting behind. We do not know who was doing what. But it's part of the entire play of mother, and the persons who stole, that is a puja, he say, writes, underlines. That is an important part of the puja ritual. The stealing also. Because without her permission, why would she give that Bhranti? She is Bhranti Rupa. She will send some people to create some more variety in this already confused world. And some will rob, some will get angry, depending on their karma. Maybe that Bandari got terribly angry, scolded his brahmachari. And all of them, you see, mother patiently, very quietly. But Ramai Maharaj, because he served with mother, he observed him, I observed her, cooking with her, doing roti with her. So naturally, he was more wiser than most of the people. He said that is also a very important part of the puja. The great puja is going on. Those robbers came, they played their part. That was due. Let them be happy. They have taken some vessels. What is there? We'll get some more. We'll buy something more. So that, after hearing that, after seeing, I wanted to read some more entries from that diary. These things are obviously not published. It's written in very, the paper is also almost. So I told Maharaj, can you just, but he refused to allow me to Xerox those things. They were wonderful things. There were many other things which happened and they were witnessed. The older generation, Ramai Maharaj and all, they had this habit of writing a daily diary. Anything that happens in the morning, maybe it's a trivial incident. Now, stealing of some vessels, we don't write it in our reminiscences. But you see, it's not the stealing that was important. It was the attitude with which they looked upon the Divine Mother. Those who really understood her, they learn these lessons. That just now, last quotation I think you read on forbearance, isn't it? That was very appropriate because forbearance was one of her greatest. She also used to say, Sha, Thakur told her. And she remembered all her life. And she also said contentment and patience. That is very important. So she practiced, she didn't just say that. So on days when all these people, crazy people, her own two brothers were fighting for property, and there are so many other issues, the freedom movement was going on, so many revolutionaries used to come, and the police would come and harass the monastery, harass Holy Mother, and not Holy Mother, but all the monastics there in Jairambati. If you remember, those were the days when the freedom movement was at its height. And many revolutionaries, one of them was Bharat Maharaj himself, Swami Abhayananda, who became a monk, and Swami Prajnananda, who became the editor of Prabuddha Bharat. All were initiated, accepted by Mother, because when they found that this is not the way, political freedom is important, but our path is spiritual freedom. If that is there, if we hold on to the spiritual ideal, they got convinced. So anyway, why she does not get disturbed? Why Holy Mother's personality? The first verse we'll see. Prakrutim paramam abhayam varadam nararupa dharam janatapaharam sharanagata sevaka toshakarim pranamami param jananim jagatam. So this is a very important. The first verse itself gives the whole nature. When we get an opportunity to sing or to hear this song, the meaning should immediately flash. Unfortunately, it is in Sanskrit. So it would be a good idea to just repeat the same thing or try to understand the meaning in English. O Divine Nature Supreme, Prakritim Paramam. Prakriti has two aspects. One is the aspect that we see, which is nature, the lower nature. So that is just Prakriti. So she is not Prakriti. She is Prakritim Paramam. What is the difference between the two? Prakriti Parama, Prakriti is united with Purusha or Shiva. Shakti is ever united with Shiva. In that state, she cannot be disturbed. I mean, her personality will be such that she sees everything from the point of view of Purusha. So the changes will impact only people who are part of Prakriti. We are all part of Prakriti. That's why we lose our mental balance, we lose our anger, we become angry, we become anxious when things don't go according to our will. That is because we are yet part of Prakriti. We are not part of Parama Prakriti, which is Holy Mother. So the more you meditate on Prakriti as Paramam, so he starts with a wonderful idea, Prakritim Paramam, and then what does she do? If you address her as Prakritim Paramam, what capacity does she have? From that standpoint, Swami Abhedanji says, remover of all fears, Abhayam Varadam. What is the boon? She won't give you money, she won't give you property and all those things because she knows it is transient. So, what is the greatest boon she can give? Abhayam Varadam. Nara Rupa Dharam. She has taken a human form who removes the miseries of man. The only way to remove the miseries is to break the bondages of karma, which no other person, no other saint has the capacity. The saint and the human beings who are other than the Divine Mother have the capacity to solve your problems for some time. That is a temporary solution to our worldly problems. But Mother is one who will remove all the fears coming from our desires, and giver of all boons, that is the supreme boon, that is Mukti, and who has taken a human form, who removes the miseries of man. Nara Rupa Dharam Jana Tapa Haram. Tapa means different types of anxieties, physical, mental, and other spiritual. Tapa means miseries. So, and as a result, by removal of these miseries, who confers joy? Sharanagata Sevaka Tosha Karim. Tosha means Santosha. She gives joy to those people who rely on her. Sharanagata, who always go to her, take refuge in her. Sharanagata Tosh. Sharanagata Sevaka. Sevaka means one who worships her with the spirit of Sharanagati. She is Toshakarim Pranamami Param Jananim Jagatam. So, O Supreme Mother of the Universe, I salute thee. Then the second verse is very important. This distinguishes Mother from other incarnations and other divine personalities. He says, Guna hina sutan aparadha yutan kripayadya samuddhara mohagatan. So, our Abhedanji is praying because after he composed this Sanskrit hymn, he goes to Holy Mother and recites it. Obviously, she could understand. She could understand even Tamil, Kannada. When she went to Bangalore, the people were asking questions. And she solved almost all the problems of those people who had assembled there. And then she told that, I feel so sorry, I cannot speak in English. So Shashi Maharaj was there. Then uh, Shashi Maharaj asked them whether they need some translation because they could not understand Bengali. She uttered a few words. She said, "How sorry I feel that I cannot speak in their language." Or she could not speak Tamil. But none of them, they said, "No, no, we all our problems are solved." So whether it is Tamil or Sanskrit, Abhidanji goes and recites this, and immediately Mother blesses him by saying, Saraswati herself has is on your tongue. That is why you could recite this. And she was very much pleased. So this is an approved meditation hymn on meditation. So in Jairambati, of course, they sing every day. Here we sing on special days. Jairambati, they sing it in a slightly different tune. But it's beautiful, the way they sing. And everybody joined. Such a big crowd they join. So he says, Gunahina Sutan Aparayadu Yutan, redeem now, O Mother, O redeem now out of thy grace thy child who is full of faults. So only a mother can redeem such people, children who are full of faults, who has fallen into delusion, that is, Kripayadya Samuddhara Mohagatan. Moha, there is full of delusion. We are deluded beings, we accept it, we are full of faults because of that. And you are the ship, Taranim Bhavasagara Parakarim. You are the only ship, you are the boat which can take us across the ocean of samsara. So, O Supreme Mother of the Universe, I salute thee. Pranamami Param Jananim Jagatam. This is a common line which comes at the end of every verse. Then, what is the reason why we get deluded? While our minds are so agitated. Agitation is not just of the mind you. The agitation of the senses, agitation of the body, it starts from the physical body. That's why when we see a restless child, we feel very sorry. That restlessness, the physical agitation will lead to mental agitation. So, steadiness of body, asana in yoga, was one of the steps where the physical agitation, so all sorts of agitation uh, are referred to here. So, agitation of the mind, agitation of the body leading to the agitation of the senses. The senses, uh, in when I was traveling in India, at least three places they asked me to speak on a apparently very secular topic: how to avoid digital distraction. Now, this was rather, I mean, of course, I had to explain it with the help of mother's examples and all. But digital distraction means it is just the tendency of the agitation of the body which leads to the agitation of the senses. We have five senses and they have been trained right from childhood to look at things, to listen to things. And some agitations are good. For example, if you meditate on, if you listen to these songs, you are hearing, you are seeing, you are visualizing, you are repeating the holy name. That also causes agitation, but that is an agitation that cancels the other agitation. So he says in this third verse, Vishayam Kusumam Pariritya Sada. He's giving a beautiful example that flowers are like the sense objects. Bee of the mind is always compared to the bee because a bee cannot fly in a straight direction. It's always humming, going here, going there. So they always compare the mind with the bee of the mind. That is how the mind is characterized. Sometimes they call monkey, but bee is a much better example. So the bee of the mind has to ever avoid the flowers of sense objects. So beautiful flowers will obviously tempt any bee to go and sip honey from them. So, but if they stop drinking or extracting honey, the restless mind will go from one flower to another, some good flower, some bad flower. So, whichever color attracts it, it will go. And as a result, what happens is the bee of the mind, because of that, the agitation of the senses lead to the agitation of thoughts or agitation of the mind. Because the mind and senses, indriya, mana, and indriya are connected. Of course, they are connected to the body. So, asana, then pranayama. Prana is the force that makes the mind, the senses go towards their respective object. And the senses are compared to the bee. So, the bee of the mind, which is already restless, uses these senses and agitates the whole personality. And if he says, instead of going from flower to flower, see the beautiful example Abhedanji gives. He says, Vishayam Kusumam. Kusumam means flower. Pariritya Sada Charanam Buruha Mrita Shanti Sudam. But if instead of that, if the senses are focused, the mind, senses, and the body are focused in concentrating on the nectar like feet of the Divine Mother, the disease of worldliness will be cured. Because that is the nectar of immortality. So that is Shanti Charanam Buruha Mrita Amruta. It is Amruta. Shanti Sudham. Piba Bringa Mano Bhavaroga Hara. So mind is like the bee and it has to be trained not to just go from flower to flower and sip all sorts of honey, which will result in agitation of the mind and the senses, but focus on the mind should focus on the lotus feet. So he is requesting Mother, allow me to, if I want to remove the disease of worldliness, which is practically killing me, the disease of worldliness can be cured only by repeating your holy name and meditating on the feet of the Mother. O Supreme Mother of the Universe, I salute thee. Pranamami Param. Then the next four verses, they just change the meter or the rhythm. He says, Kripam Kuru Mahadevi, Suteshu Pranateshu Cha, Charanashraya Danena Kripamahi Namostute. That means in the fourth verse he says, bestow thy grace, O great goddess, on us thy children. Kripam Kuru Mahadevi Suteshu. Suta means children. Pranateshu cha means children who are prostrating before you. Every day we are prostrating, so please shower your grace upon us by granting shelter at thy feet. Charana Ashraya Danena, by Charana Ashraya. Give me Ashraya in your holy feet, because that is the only way the bee of my mind will drink the nectar of immortality. So, and it will prevent me from agitation. So, give me peace by making me do all these things. Now, finally, she says, the next three verses say, Lajja Patav. Now, after describing who the mother is, first verse, what she can do for us, that is prayojana, that is how scriptures are studied. First, you should know why we should chant these verses. We get up early in the morning. We have been doing it for so many years. It's not that we are not doing this. And we sing it in very good tune. We shout it at the top of our voice. That's nothing, it definitely has merit. But the idea behind this, every verse and every word, is so carefully chosen. That's why Mother blessed Abhedanji that Saraswati has herself, the one who gives knowledge, eternal knowledge will reside on your tongue, and she has made you compose this. It's an immortal composition on Holy Mother. So he says, the next one says, Lajja Patavrite. Now, how do we meditate? What are the most important characteristics? We may read the whole life of Holy Mother, but here he has summarized as Guna Dhyana. It is known as in meditation. Since we cannot meditate because of the agitated senses, we can reduce the agitation by doing Guna Dhyana, some of the qualities. And we like that. That is why we like to hear about the mother, we like to read books. That is a lesser sadhana than doing japa. Japa and mantra can give us direct results, but we don't have the patience, or our minds are so agitated that we want some other positive agitation to counter our negative agitation. It's a more natural path. That's why we have reading and again and again. Some people say, I've read it, why do you ask me to read it? I said, even Kathamrita, every day if you read, still, till the agitation of the senses is removed, it has to be, these books have to be read. And if we cannot read, if somebody has that musical talent, not just to show that one is talented, but if he understands the meaning every time he chants, it is as good as repeating the mantra. Because repeating the mantra is the best. That's why Mother said Japat Siddhi. She said Japat Siddhi. This was not a simple advice given to some women, as uh, some of the devotees of Thakur, they sometimes speak this. I was shocked. They say, you know what mother did? She gave the simple advice for poor women who cannot read. That is not true. Japat Siddhi, when she says, it is meant, actually it is meant for the scholars who are full of egos. Because it is mother's way of telling that you have enough scholarship now, just practice something. Repeat japa, because that is going to save you. Even Shankaracharya, after writing so many commentaries, he was seeing people struggling to read Vyakarana and do this, read Bhashya. He composed a beautiful song. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukring Karane. Dukring Karane is a Sanskrit. When you learn grammar, you are taught that. He said, don't waste your time learning grammar. When the death is near, the only the name of Govinda, that is God, will save you. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Mudam. So similarly, Mother said, Japat Siddhi. It was not to discourage or maybe convince or somehow convince the poor village women who came, who were illiterate. If that was the advice, then that advice is not for us. Then it is ridiculous. If she says Japa Siddhi, it means through Japa alone you can get Siddhi. And that's the best way, easiest and the best way. She has said that. And that is what she convinced all the disciples who took Diksha there. You see, Vishuddhananji, Vireshwaranji, every one of them in their talks, especially Holy Mother's disciples, you'll find they will emphasize this. Even scholars and big people, when they come with problems, they give a very simplistic solution, which appears to be too simplistic. It is meant for rural women. Some scholars may say that what will happen if I do japa? Because you cannot do japa, you have to do stotra. Because you cannot do stotra, you have to read the other books, more complicated books. But the simple solution, Holy Mother, those who believe in Ma Sarada Devi, she says the easiest and the best way. Now, if we want complicated ways, nobody can prevent us from doing that. She says, okay, that is also play. You read, you go on reading all the Upanishads, all the books that are there, attend all the courses. And then when you are tired, when death is near, then you will have to finally come to this final advice, Japat Siddhi, if you want Siddhi. So that is why she says you have to we have to meditate. The Abhidanji, what he does here, he gives the final advice at the last. We'll see how beautifully. First, he says what is Holy Mother capable of, who is she, her nature. Then, what is her guna? So, if our mind wanders, our senses, they want some variety, then you meditate on these important qualities. There's a big biography by Gambhiranji. So many biographies are there, small and big. But what are the qualities? First is Lajja Patavrute Nityam Sharade Jnanadaike. This is what Thakur said. See Sharda, she is come in a hidden form. She appears to be illiterate, she appears to be ignorant, but she is full of knowledge. She is Saraswati. She has come here to give knowledge. So based on that, he says, Lajja Patavrite. She is always covered. She hardly talked. Even while talking to Naren Swami Vivekananda, she used to cover her head. That was the orthodox tradition in those days. She used to hide herself, hardly speak with people. Lajja Patavrite Nityam, always. Lajja Patavrite Nityam Sharade Jnanadaike. You are the giver of knowledge. Though you have covered yourself by a veil because of your, you may say, humility, or you may say modesty. That is why Holy Mother said, especially addressing women, modesty is the greatest ornament of a woman. And she followed that tradition. She didn't expect men to do that. It's not that that is, but for women it becomes a very powerful, it becomes a great ornament. So Lajja Patavrite Nityam, though ever covered with the veil of modesty, we should not assume that she was always shy. Shyness is one thing, modesty is another thing. She used to say modesty is a great virtue of a woman, of a mother especially, mother or a woman. Thou, Mother Sharada, art the one who bestows spiritual illumination. Even behind the veil of humility or modesty, you have tremendous power, which most of the direct disciples felt. And protect us from sins evermore, O compassionate one, to thee our salutations. Then, next one is very important for people who have the confusion that Sri Ramakrishna came, Holy Mother was his disciple. They also say that he gave 8 mantras to be given through the disciples. She said, I am a woman. She was not even thinking of initiating, forget initiating. She was content to do her duties, meditate, do japa, whatever instructions Sri Ramakrishna had given. One day Sri Ramakrishna calls her and says, I have done nothing. You have to do many more things. That means from 1886 to, he knew, 1820, 34 years of spiritual ministration she had to do. In fact, she gave more initiation than Sri Ramakrishna himself, and without considering the merit and demerit of the disciple. Anybody and everybody, even Raja Maharaj and others, hesitated to initiate certain people because they knew their character. Said, if I initiate, I will suffer. So such people, Premananji says, see how her mother is digesting everything. Anybody who comes, forces, Raja Maharaj and others hesitated to even grant them initiation. But they go to mother and immediately, without any conditions, he initiates them. So he says, Sri Ramakrishna says that you and me are not different. That is why Sri Krishna, whether you meditate on Sri Krishna or you meditate on Holy Mother, they are two parts, two sides of the same coin. That is what he says. Ramakrishna Gata Pranam. You are one with Sri Krishna. To her whose life was merged with Sri Krishna, whose delight consists in absorption and thought and talk of his name and glory, who personally soaked and suffused with his spirit. To her, our salutations. Tad bhava ranjita karam pranamami muhurmu. Tannama shravana priyam. She was very fond of repeating his name. That's why she said the easiest and the best way to solve all the problems of life is to repeat the name of Sri Krishna in silence. Of course, the condition of silence here is very important. What silence really means is that doesn't mean just physical silence. To calm down the agitation of the senses, the agitation of the body, senses, and the mind. So, with that mind, to some extent, by doing Guna Dhyana, by repeating this stotra, we do Khandana, all those hymns, these basic hymns, Swami Vivekananda made it a rule. He knew if I don't make these prayers, of course, Prakriti Paramam came much later because Swamiji passed away. Then the direct disciples decided to add this. So, in most of the centers, these four this whatever is described in this is more than enough. The Guna Dhyana, after reading the books, we don't have to read the books again and again. You will find all the qualities that are essential have been condensed, summarized in this stotra. So he says, Pavitram Charitam Yasyaha Pavitram Jivanam Tatha Pavitrata Surupinne Tasya Kurmo Namo Nama. So, what is her essential? What gives her words, her actions, and her life itself is full of power because of purity. So purity is power. So that is why he says, to her, whose nature itself is sanctity. That is why once when the direct disciples told her that you go, the Ganga is already pure, but by Holy Mother bathing in the Ganga daily, it has become more pure. Sri Krishna also, it was said of Sri Krishna also, that they imparted the tirthas and the rivers, sacred rivers, they become purified by the very nature of the absolute purity, matchless purity. So she says, to her, whose nature is sanctity, to her, whose life is sanctity, to her who is the very embodiment of sanctity. So see, this Pavitra word has been repeated again and again. There was nothing but sanctity in her life. Nothing around her, however disturbing, however agitational, however polluted. She lived. She didn't run away from anything. Even Thakur in his sadhana days used to run away from this crazy Hridaya and all. He said, I used to go searching for Mama and he used to be found in Panchavati. And he did not want even any human being to see the face of any human being. So they were very conscious of the impure thoughts of other people. But mother never, though she practiced meditation in solitude, she got up before anybody would get up. She used to go take her bath in the Ganga and sit for meditation before the world had even got up. So that way she was enjoying her solitude, whether it is in Manahabat, in Dakshineshwar, or Jairambati, or wherever, Udbodan, wherever she traveled, she would be the first one to get up and practice meditation in solitude. So when she says that, that is why he says, Ramakrishna, what is that? I bow down again and again. Now we come to the last two verses. Pavitram Charitam is over. Devim Prasannam, now the meter again changes. Devim Prasannam Pranatarthi Hantrim Yogindra Pujam Yugadharma Patrim Tam Sharadam Bhakti Vijnana Datrim Daya Swarupam Pranamami Nityam. So this verse number 8 says, Thou gracious goddess, that is Devim Prasannam Pranatarthi Hantrim Yogindra Pujam Yugadharma Patrim. So you are the gracious goddess, the destroyer of ills of the devotees, who is adorned by Yogindra, is the personification of holiness in this age, who through compassion bestows devotion and wisdom everywhere and to everyone. I salute thee, Sharda Devi. Now, next, last two. Snehena Badnasi. Now, what is her role? We know of an incident where a young man who had committed a lot of sins, but somehow he had the good wisdom to come and uh, surrender to Holy Mother in Jairambati, and he decided, oh, it's a good life. I get so much of love here, which I never got, like Girish Ghosh. So he came and stayed there. But then seeing the immaculate purity of the other, talking to other brahmacharis and other monks, he felt perhaps I am a misfit here. Because I have committed, they are saying they are right from childhood, they have such good samskaras. So I am not fit to stay here. So one day he decides, his mind was very much agitated. And then he goes to Holy Mother and says, I am leaving. So Mother said, why? He said, no, 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 I get so many bad thoughts here. I'm just leaving this place now. I'm not fit. So then Mother holds him. There's the incident. He later on became a very, very respected monk of our order. So Holy Mother just holds him by his shoulders and says, you're not going anywhere. You will just stay here. And then he says, I'll take care of whatever defects you have. So, binding our mind, this is the verse, ninth verse, Snehena Badnasi Manaha Asmadiyam, all our minds, she has somehow bound it with her love. Her love was same towards all, good, bad, disturbing people, everyone, which is very rare. Sri Ramakrishna, as some of the direct disciples said, he was very selective. Even told Keshav Chandra Sen, your movement is going to collapse because you don't carefully select your disciples. But Mother had so much power that she said, she graciously accepted everyone, said, it is my responsibility. If I can't help them, help these people with evil tendencies and lift them, then who else will do? This is the last refuge. This is the last place where they can go in this world. The whole world might have rejected them, but if where will they go if I reject them? So she says, Snehana Badnasi Mano Asmadiyam Doshana Asheshan. Not simple mistakes. Doshan Asheshan are our innumerable. Ashesha means there is no end to our vices. But you convert them into virtues. Doshan Asheshan Saguni Karoshi. Saguni means you convert them into sagunas. Bad gunas are converted into good gunas. Saguni Karoshi. You are the one who converts all these evil deeds, whatever we have in our mind, with whatever agitation we come, you are the only one who can give us, who can transmute our personality into Saguni Karoshi. Ahetu nano dayase swadoshan swanke gritva yadidam vichitram. He says, I am surprised. This is compassionate as thou art without consideration of merit. Ahetu na. Ahetu means no hetu. If I support good people and if I drive away bad people, like which Holy Mother never did, then what there is a hetu. I want to be surrounded by good people. I want to avoid people whom people judge as bad. Then what is the greatness? Mother's greatness was she was ahetuna. Ahetu means without any consideration. Ahetu nano dayase, so because of your daya, because of your compassion, you without consideration of merit, you take us unworthy ones unto your lap. That is, swanke grihitva yadidam vichitram. You take us, like children, those who are soiled with many evil deeds, even them, you clean them and then put them on your lap. That is the ninth. And the 10th is Prasida Matar Vinayena Yache Nityam Bhava Snehavati Suteshu Premaika Bindum Chiradagda Chitte Vishincha Chittam Kurunas Sushantam. So, O gracious Mother, hear our prayer. Prasida Matar Vinayena. We are praying to you. Vinaya means prayer. Vinayena Yache. Yache means pray. With a lot of humility, all we can do is, please don't judge us and try to shower your grace upon us without considering our merits and demerits. Vinayana, we are Prasida Matar, we are praying to you with lot of humility because we have no other place to go. Nityam bhava snehavati suteshu. To your innumerable children, you become bhava snehavati. You become kind and compassionate, forgiving all our misdeeds. You take us to your on your lap. Vishincha chittam kuruna sushantam. That means one drop of your love will soothe our burning hearts. They are burning now because of our own faults, because of our own agitation. Nobody else has done it. We are to blame ourselves. But at the same time, one drop of that infinite love of yours, just one drop, is enough to soothe our burning hearts. Then the prayer which I uttered in the beginning, Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Pada Padme Tayoshitva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. That is taking shelter at the lotus feet of the mother, Sarada Devi and Ramakrishna, the world teacher. I salute them again and again. So this is a prayer for both Sri Ramakrishna and Ma Sharada because they are not different. As he says, Ramakrishna Gata Prana Tannama Shravana Priya. She found delight only in repeating her name, and she expected us to find delight in repeating his name or even her name. In fact, she used to give her own mantra. Out of the 8 mantras, at least 2 of them are on Sharda Devi, on the feminine aspect of the incarnation or the avatara, that is Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna Gata Prana Tannama Shravana Priyam Tad Bhava Ranjita Karam. She is so she's part of the mantra. Whether you meditate on Sri Krishna and this verse, this particular wonderful composition of Abhedananda says, Ramakrishna Gata Prana Tannama Shravana Priya. She loved to hear your name. I repeat your name. And even if I feel like meditating on your form or the form of Sri Krishna, which cannot be separated, in either case, it is you who will have to shower your grace upon us. It's a very auspicious day. I have to conclude now because uh, we'll conclude this with the Pushpanjali, and which of course are rituals, but it's part, as I said, if stealing of vessels are part of the puja, so this also everything is part of the puja. Listening to talk, japa, even gossiping is also part. Don't worry. If somebody has gossip, it's okay. Mother, at least mother will forgive. I don't know about other gods. I can't speak for them, but here she has promised. So don't just take it easy. You have come to mother, and just hope and pray that she showers her infinite grace upon us. So we will have, where is Uma? We will have Manam Sankirtan.